Madam Speaker, I rise for this day in Black History Month to recognize an incredible Virginian and American, John Mercer Langston. He serves as the first president of Virginia State University and the first African American elected to the United States Congress from Virginia. The great Spanish writer Cervantes said, "Every man is a son of his works," and Congressman Langston's work was indeed mighty and life-changing. He was born in 1829 as a slave in Louisa County, and as a child was able to get to his freedom in Ohio. He attended Oberlin College, studied law, and became the first known African-American lawyer west of the Allegheny Mountain. During the Civil War, he was a tireless recruiter for the famed 54th Massachusetts Regiment. He later became the first dean of the Howard University School of Law, and he started his Sunday class studying just the law of Moses and the Bible, and his lectures became so famous they were even attended by Ralph Waldo Emerson. You can find a collection of his speeches online in the book Freedom and Citizenship. For a while there, he was as well known in our country as Frederick Douglass. He became closely allied with President Ulysses S. Grant and was appointed as the first U.S. minister to Haiti. And it was back upon his visit back to the United States that a remarkable event happened that I wanted to make everybody in this body aware. It was buried actually in an introduction online, and it was on the Washington Star that I found online. It was his first return back to Louisa County, where he was born a slave. And this dates back to this article. It was from a former officer stationed in Gordonsville, Virginia. In Louisa County, on one of these occasions, John Langston, now the United States Minister to Haiti, was going to come speak at the Louisa County Courthouse. And although long, while free, and honorably distinguished, there had never been a time before where Mr. Langston had ever had a chance to safely visit his native county. He returns to Louisa County to give a speech at the courthouse, and he was promptly snubbed. To quote this article from the Washington Star, "White people, however, took little note or interest of his return. I remember particularly trying to convince General Gordon, the county attorney, to be pleased with Mr. Langston and meet with him, and he refused. Mr. Langston returned to Louisa County. He was not even offered any location at the hotel of the village, but that did not deter him. He went anyway to the Louisa County Courthouse and began to speak. And this same General Gordon that had rejected and refused to meet with him because he was an African American was standing on the corner of the courthouse and started to listen. Minister Langston began referring to Virginia and Louisa County, and he started talking about the history of Virginia and the genuine affection he felt for this state and its potential of what it could be as a people. And then something remarkable changed. That crowd that at first was just made of freed men literally started to change in its composition. He spoke for 2 hours. And at the end, that same General Gordon that had rejected James Langston came up to him, and this is from the article. There was General Gordon crowding near Langston with irrespectable confession of homage springing from his eyes and pouring down his cheeks, paying honor to him. And the address continued for 2 additional hours of unflagging interest. That same hotel that refused Minister Langston then gave him a seat of honor at a dinner in his honor. And that same General Gordon that had rejected him invited him next day to his church and escorted him to the pulpit. What a remarkable effect Minister Langston had on individuals. In 1888, he ran for Congress in Virginia in the 4th District and won, except Congress refused to seat him until the Speaker ordered the clerk to recognize those in the opposition party to answer their roll call, which they did, and he was seated. He later stayed in Washington, D.C., practiced law, and his spirit was recognized by his grandnephew, Langston Hughes, one of the great poets of the Harlem Renaissance, with this final story I'd like to share with this body. Apparently there was a period of time where on certain streets they had problems with Congressman Langston going in his carriage because they dared to be seen as breaking down the color barrier. And this is from Langston Hughes. Langston got out, took his axe, and chopped down the wooden barrier that was keeping him from traveling on that road, while his coachman held his gloves. From then on, without hindrance, he rode behind his horses throughout the streets of Washington without hindrance. What a man, what an American, what a Virginian, first president of Virginia State University, first dean of the Howard School of Law, and the first congressman from the 4th District, Virginia. Thank you, Your Honor, for this moment.